Well, Egypt is a pretty old country. It's a very old country, as you all know. Egypt has been in its place with the same borders for, I think, five or 6,000 years. Characteristics. The main characteristics of Egypt are basically a accumulation of various cultures that came around along the history from the time of the pharaohs, passing through the Persians, the Romans, the Arabs, or the Islamic culture, passing, and before that, of course, the Christian Coptic or the Christian Orthodox culture, and it all sort of amalgamated in what is currently the characteristics of Egypt. Being a very old country where most of the religions known to man have passed, speaking by Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and they are all very conservative, and that produced a sort of a conservative characteristic of the people. But again, being in where it is, its place in the world, and the connections it had with Europe, through the Roman Empire, and later with France, Napoleonic France, and England, and in being one of the basic players in the history of the world, made it, again, a very modernized country. So it acquired aspects of modernity and modernization with aspects of being conservative due to religious and Middle Eastern sort of characteristics. So this is the basic characteristic of Egypt. It's a modern, conservative society, you can say. That's the myth. Well, the outer world, the other people, other cultures, other societies think of Egypt as the pharaonic Egypt, as the ancient Egyptian civilization. The truth is completely different. Truth is, yes, we have extensions to the ancient Egyptian civilization. We have customs and habits that still live with us till today. We even use some words in the special, I would say, Egyptian Arabic language, which is different from the rest of Arabic language. We still use words from or extracted from the ancient language. But again, Egypt is not what you see in Hollywood movies. It's not pyramids and in temples everywhere.
Of course.
There are lots of pyramids and temples and tombs and whatever. We have 1/3 of the entire monuments of the world. 1/3 of the world cultural heritage is in Egypt. But then Egypt today is completely different. It's modern cities, shopping centers, cinemas, and it's more like Europe than America. I mean, if you've been to Europe, European cities have a special character that is different from American cities. It's more like European cities with an ancient or with an old aspect to it. As a matter of fact, Cairo, as capital of Egypt, was modeled after Paris. So the center of Cairo is very similar to Paris. There are lots of buildings that resemble their counterpart in Paris. So in some time it was called Paris of the East. Definitely. Cultures in general have to change, have to adapt, have to modernize, have to adopt other aspects of other cultures in order to survive. It's the rule of survivability of cultures. Cultures that do not adapt die. And of course, the Egyptian culture has adopted, I would say, foreign aspects in the past decades. Unfortunately, in the past 10 or 20 years, we are importing aspects of more conservative societies from the Gulf states due to economic and other work-related reasons. But it has influenced the Egyptian culture in a sense. And in a sense, it has provoked, again, this sort of struggle for identity. Most of the Egyptians do not identify with the ultra-conservative culture or tribal culture of the Gulf states. And it's causing one of the, I believe, one of the most important, I would say, discussion rather than struggle to identify the Egyptians right now, or to regain sort of a traditional Egyptian identity that is more modern, more open toward the world, less radical, yet still conservative, but very much less radical than most of our neighbors. The Spring Festival. We have a Spring Festival. We call it Sham al-Nasim, which is that's one of the things that we still celebrate. I'm telling you, we still eat the same food. We have the same customs. We go out to parks. We use we eat certain type of fish. We color eggs, which is in a manner where the Easter egg came to life, because they used to color eggs and eat them on that day. Other stuff that came through till today, as I told you, some of the words we use in everyday language are adaptations of words used by the ancient people. Names of month in Coptic language still survive to today. Some of the words used every day to describe kids and stuff are basically ancient Egyptian words. Well, they are still pretty important. As I told you, Egypt, being what it is, being the same country in the same place with the same borders, with almost the same people for such a long time, makes a very important sense of belonging, or sense of nationalism in a way. And this reflects in how we celebrate national events. National events are still very important. Social and religious celebrations in Egypt are held in sort of a family are sort of family affairs. I mean, it is customary that we visit family, we eat together. I don't know if grandparents are alive. The entire family goes to the original family house. The existence of classes is very important for society, and maybe more important than the existence of classes is the possibility of inter-class movements, that people can move from one class to the other. That if somebody from a lower middle class has the opportunity or the access, he can benefit from that and try to move to I would say a higher class. through his own merit. But again, of course, class affects access, and access is everything. If you have the opportunity, you have, or you have access, you have the opportunity. If you don't have access, basically,
Yes.
you have to work harder to obtain that access, or to obtain that opportunity. Well, the most exotic thing that we eat, the rest of the world think it's exotic, are pigeons. Most of the Western, I mean, cross-Atlantic world, think eating pigeons is very exotic and strange. Just well, the differences are basically what you'd expect from in a conservative society versus a very westernized or much more open one. The days are quite different due to a lot of other aspects rather than cultural. In Egypt, Cairo, for example, is a city that literally never sleeps. And when I say never sleeps, I mean that you can go out at 3 in the morning and find shops, restaurants, and cafeterias open. And you can do your shopping at 2 in the morning. So this is basically the difference in the day. A day in Cairo or in Egypt in general, well, not in Egypt in general, I'd say in Cairo, basically. It starts very early and ends very late. A day in Montevideo would start very early, but it would end early as well. The other thing is, in a city like Cairo, Cairo is a city of 22 million people. Uruguay, the entire Uruguay has 3 million people. So Cairo has, I don't know, 7 times. So just Cairo has 7 times the population of Uruguay. And a city that has that amount of people living there, cars and transport and everything, you have to plan everything quite ahead. And I mean, if you need to go to the other end of the city, it's probably going to take you 2 to 3 hours. And the way we plan it, what we do during the day. But on other aspects, they can be quite similar. Work in the morning, I don't know, rest in the afternoon, go out at night, which is the normal thing. The only thing is different is how we plan these details of the 3 basic or the 3 major time periods.